Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 24th of November, Friday, so I wish you all a great day and wonderful upcoming weekend. Now it's 12:30, middle of the day by Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Second update will be a little bit late on my Patreon page in which I will share additional news that will be reported by Russian media. That's been said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with a short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. According to reports from Russian media, Russian Defense Ministry and Russian military channels, there was no significant or groundbreaking changes on any of the sectors of the front line, although of course there are certain areas where activities are quite intense, mainly Kherson direction and Donetsk sector of the front line. When it comes to Kherson region, by the way, we don't really have significant changes on the ground. Ukrainian forces are still trying to maintain and somewhat enlarge their small footholds on the left bank of the Dnieper River. This left bank continues to play a role of trap for Ukrainian military personnel, and more and more Ukrainian military personnel is realizing this, and instances when they're laid down arms and surrendering increasing, not just in Kherson region, but basically all along the front line. And when it comes to this direction, Russian Air Force was pounding basically Ukrainian positions on the left bank, on the right bank, on the points of concentration of Ukrainian forces. It was hell for Ukrainian military during the previous 12 to 24 hours. And casualty numbers, by the way, on Ukrainian side, when it comes to daily reports of Russian Defense Ministry, are much higher now in Kherson area than, let's say, Zaporozhye or even South Donetsk direction, where recently Russian armed forces were quite active and increasing pressure on Vremyevsky salient direction. And some channels even did report that it's quite likely that Russian units will, in upcoming days, in fairly short time, maybe will try to establish control or regain control over the Staromayorskaya settlement. And if that's the case, then Urozhaina will automatically fail into Russian hands, because Ukrainian forces will have no other choice other than retreat in direction of Makarovka. But yet again, at this point, nothing is happening on any of the sectors of the front line, being that Kherson direction, Zaporozhye direction, South Donetsk direction, or northern sectors of the front line. There is no changes that can influence overall situation. Little bit different picture we have in Donetsk direction, southern flank of Donetsk, to be more precise. Avdiivka area, where Russian units are continuing to improve their current positions on daily basis. Russian side quite actively using in this area all type of weapons, including cluster munitions, by the way. And I did share on my Telegram page active use of cluster munitions, and it's devastating. It's truly devastating, horrifying, I guess, to everybody that will end up being targeted by this type of munitions. And I remind you, dear friends, that it's Ukrainian side that introduced cluster munition to the battlefield first. And Russian side was quite open that if Ukrainian side will begin, if Western states, NATO member states, will deliver cluster munitions and Ukrainian side will begin using these munitions, Russia will respond in the similar way. And that's what is happening, by the way. Russian Air Force is dropping RBK 500 cluster munition bombs on Ukrainian on positions of Ukrainian units. But yet again, when it comes to final push in Avdiivka direction, you know my take on it. I expect Avdiivka, this final offensive or assault on Avdiivka from Russian side to begin about 3-4 weeks time, somewhere in middle of January or close to middle of December or close to January. And I guess this is it for a short summary of the on Ukrainian battlefield. I remind you, dear friends, that they are specialized military channels that are providing significantly more detailed information about these local scale skirmishes, namely military summary, of course, DPA War or Defense Politics Asia, Web Union, and of course, by the way, hosts of Duran Show are providing us also with great detail of information about on daily basis about situation on the front line. Alexander Merkuris does great work to inform public about it every day. You can see all the links, by the way, to channels that I mentioned and many others under this video in description box in the recommendation list. That's been said, before I continue, dear friends, let me thank all of you for your time and your attention, and of course special thank to all members of our community that are supporting my work with donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page, and allowing me to continue work on this project. Let's continue with news now. Additional news. And RIA Novosti reporting that in Crimea and Volgograd regions during the nighttime or early hours of this morning, Russian air defense system shut down about 16 Ukrainian drones. Yet another attempt from Kiev regime to strike deep inside Russian territory, and Russian air defense systems were ready for such development, and at this point we don't have any reports that there was any casualties on the ground or any more or less significant damage. 13 drones were shut down in Crimea area, and 3 drones were destroyed in Volgograd region of Russian Federation. Dear friends, of course many of you know that Volgograd city, it's a legendary city during the Second World War or Great Patriotic War. This city had the name Stalingrad. Of course, everyone is familiar with this name. Let's continue. TASS news agency is reporting, based on article in Bloomberg, that more and more citizens of Ukraine are now in support of peace talks, and more and more citizens are basically agreed that to achieve peace, Kiev regime will have to basically agree on Russian terms, so that some territories will remain under Russian control. Even though, according to Bloomberg, number of citizens that understands and agrees that peace, to achieve peace, some territories, it will be okay for them if peace will be achieved and some territories will remain under Russian control. Number of these people are still lower than supporters of continuation of this conflict and this idea of Zelensky and his associates that they're going to regain control over the entire Ukraine, which will never happen, by the way. Entire former Ukraine, let's say, which will never happen. But what is most interesting, in my opinion, is that during the studies in Ukraine, social studies, people are now not afraid or managing to deal with the fear, and they are openly saying what they think. And well, I guess it's only a matter of time when majority of Ukrainian citizens will agree that to achieve peace, Kiev regime will have to agree that some parts of former Ukraine will remain under Russian control, namely, of course, southern and eastern regions of Ukraine. But you know my take on all this Ukrainian story, by the way. I believe once this conflict will end, vast majority of Ukraine, this failed state, will be under Russian control, and only western regions will, and western regions, by the way, will end up being controlled by Poland, Hungary, and Romania, possibly Slovakia. There will be no Ukraine as a state on the political map after this conflict will end. This is my take on this situation, and I will just leave slight chance that Kiev and surrounding regions will maintain this statehood. There will be some quasi-state under the name of Ukraine, although, as I said many times before, I don't see why Moscow will ever agree on this type of on this because of course Western ruling elite will constantly use this quasi-state against Russia. At some point, even military conflict may erupt again. So that's why I believe Kiev regime did lose time for negotiations. Now they will deal with Russian ultimatum to lay down arms and surrender, to stop fighting. And Russia will make all the decisions, all the necessary decisions next. And I don't think Moscow will be very much against if Western neighbors of Ukraine will establish control over the Western regions, where stronghold of Ukrainian neo-Nazi ideology is, by the way, and Ukrainian neo-Nazis. So Poland, Hungary, and Romania, they will be forced to deal with those neo-Nazis, and let's see how they're gonna feel when that will happen. But anyway, let's continue. It's interesting to know, by the way, that more and more Ukrainian citizens are realizing, despite a heavy vacuum of informational vacuum in Ukraine, are still beginning to realize what's going on, and are now in support of peace negotiations, even if that will mean that Ukraine will lose territories. These people don't yet know that Ukraine will lose statehood in fairly short time. Anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that NATO plans to create something like military Schengen zone. NATO's European logistics chief has urged nations on the continent to establish a military Schengen zone to allow for the rapid movement of troops, equipment and ammunition in the event of war with Russia. Well, we are running out of time. Lieutenant General Alexandra Solfranc told Reuters in an interview published on Thursday, "What we don't get done in the peacetime won't be ready in case of crisis or war." He said, well, by the way, I believe this attempt from NATO or Washington and London to create some additional logistical means for a rapid movement of forces is done not to prepare for a war with Russia. They know perfectly well that there will be no war between Russia and NATO, but they are using pretext of possible confrontation with NATO to force basically these changes so that they will be ready to rapidly move forces into Western Ukraine and establish control over the Western regions of Ukraine when time is right, when fate of modern Ukraine will be finally decided, and Moscow and the Western major capitals will negotiate which territories will be controlled by which side. And as I said, my understanding is that entire Ukraine, with the exception of Western regions, one way or another, but will be under Russian control, and Western regions under control of NATO. Let's continue, and this is, by the way, quite interesting news. Of course, not all the EU officials or officials of EU member states have enough intellect to understand geopolitical chess game that is have been played by major capitals at this point, and some of them are beginning to fail to their own propaganda. And this is pure example of that, by the way. That Lithuanian president Gitanas Nausėda has urged foreign minister of his country, by the way, his own foreign minister, Gabrielus Landsbergis, to take a seat and calm down after the diplomat claimed that Russia will launch attack on NATO if Ukraine is forced to seek peace deal with Moscow. Well, yet again, by the way, seems like this so-called foreign minister of Lithuania is so intellectually downgraded or so stupid, really, that he really fell to this propaganda of the Western ruling class, and he's become hysterical, so much so that president of Lithuania had to talk to him with this approach: just take a seat and calm down. I mean, like he is a dog, some kind of. So, I mean, perfect news to have a good understanding what type of people are in high-ranking official, in high-ranking positions in the EU member states. In this case, in Lithuania. Of course, there will be no war between Russia and NATO, by the way. During the process when Ukraine will be divided between Russia and NATO member states, there may be some local scale skirmishes, misunderstandings, and so on. That's certainly a possibility. On the line of contact between Russian forces and NATO forces, on the in the western parts of Ukraine. But when it comes to full-scale confrontation between Russia and NATO, it's not happening, by the way, and thanks God it's not happening. These idiots in position of power in European states, they don't even understand what they are talking about. So often mentioning war between Russia and NATO. I guess they don't really realize that if that kind of war will happen, there will be nothing left from human civilization on this planet. And that's why I guess grown-up people in the room, Russia, and I believe in US, in UK, in other major capitals in the West, also are serious people still that will do everything to make sure that there will be no full-scale confrontation between the sides. Anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti is reporting that according to British newspaper Guardian, by the way, many Ukrainian refugees in UK may end up being homeless due to lack of financial and social support from UK's government. Well, sad news really. But maybe Guardian is exaggerating something, because I cannot imagine UK will live without any support refugees. Well, I find it hard to believe really in this. I guess at some point, UK government and local governments, by the way, in England, Scotland, Welsh, or Northern Ireland, whenever Ukrainian refugees are, will provide refugees with opportunities of work, and once these people will have income to pay for the living, then probably they will be removed from social housing. But I don't think London will just leave these people on the streets. No, man. But that's what Guardian is writing based on interviews with refugees, Ukrainian refugees. And dear friends, this topic of refugees is of course active nowadays, especially because of this crisis on the borderline between Russia and Finland. And Finnish government is trying to secure border, or basically shut down border if necessary entirely, to not to allow refugees from Middle East, African nations that are using Russia as a transit state to enter Finland. Yesterday, by the way, one member of our community from Finland did comment, probably you did see in comment sections, that according to him, not all people that crossing border are really refugees. They are just trying to abuse Finnish social system. And well, according to him, by the way, in Finland, these refugees can basically do nothing, never work, and still maintain high quality of life, because Finnish government will provide them. And Well, I'm not in Finland, I cannot say nothing, but I wanted to share with you a take from Finnish point of view, from a member of our community. That's how they see this crisis, that many people among those refugees that are trying to enter Finland are not really refugees, not really from current conflict zones. They just want to improve their life standards or standard of living and enter European state, in this case Finland, and abuse basically local system, social security system to to have a better life. And well, even if that's the case, by the way, you cannot forbid people to want to have a better life. And yet again, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult topic. There is no easy solutions, of course. In one hand, freedom of movement is one of the basic freedoms of humans. In other hand, Finland definitely has every right. Finland and any other country, by the way, has every right to protect itself in any ways they find it suitable. So, Russian foreign ministry did make statement that they will work with the Finnish government if they want to resolve this issue, because this wave of refugees will not go away, because Russia will not shut down its borders with the states from whom these refugees are coming to Russia to use Russian territory and as a transit place to enter Europe. But anyway, it's a difficult topic. It's a difficult topic, and no easy solutions. Let's continue. RT is reporting that Israel and Hamas, by the way, not just achieve ceasefire, but this ceasefire is in effect now, which is great news. Finally, it's a ceasefire, temporary ceasefire, of course, but still it's a ceasefire, and people not gonna die. And let's hope. By the way, let's hope we are on the verge of the escalation. Let's hope, because I did see some slightly optimistic statements in the media that maybe sides will go on the path of the escalation from now on, and well, that will be great. Although so much suffering has been done in previous months as a result of escalation on both sides, by the way, that I mean, it's a tragedy, of course. But at least they managed to achieve ceasefire, and which is in effect right now. And we have reports, by the way, that Israel begin to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza Strip, and also, by the way, fuel. So fuel trucks are moving inside the Gaza, so that there will be electricity in the hospitals, in the strategic facilities, humanitarian facilities in the Gaza Strip. TASS news agency also reporting that by the way, South African Republic plans to ask International Court of UN to declare Israel a state of apartheid. Well, South Africa is very upset with Israel, by the way. South Africa is very upset with Israel. Just a few days ago, Parliament of South Africa did vote to cut diplomatic ties with Israel until Israel will agree on ceasefire, and some steps will be made in terms of the escalation. Israel did, by the way, this, so I don't think South Africa will cut diplomatic ties, but government of this republic is so upset that they are basically they will demand now from International Court Israel to be of UN, by the way, that Israel to be declared as an apartheid state. And I guess this initiative of South Africa will have worldwide support. I don't think it will happen. I don't think International Court will declare Israel apartheid state because of the influence of Israeli lobby, but idea itself will, I guess, have quite a support worldwide, not just in the Middle East, but in Latin America, in South America, in Africa, in global South. So let's see how the situation develops. TASS news agency is also reporting, dear friends, that yet another bunch of Su-35 fighter jets have been delivered to Russian aerospace forces, which is great news. Of course, almost on weekly basis now, Russian army is receiving more and more modern weapons. Just a few days ago, I did report that a new bunch of Su-34 frontline bombers were delivered to Russian army, and now we have information that Su-35s, new Su-35s, also being delivered. Well, Russian military-industrial complex is on fire. By the way, they are working 24/7. They are working 24/7, and I believe, by the way, once this conflict will end, they will stay this busy because the demand for Russian weapons will be huge worldwide. Especially on aircrafts, helicopters, drones, and so on. So, well, Russian military-industrial complex did prove basically that it's very much capable to to support Russian army in every way possible. Let's continue. RT is reporting, by the way, that Sergei Guriev, Russian-born economist who advised the West on sanctions against Russia, by the way, sanctions that could have a greatest impact on his home nation, admitted on Twitter, on X, on Wednesday that he has suffered from some of the measures that Western ruling elites take against Russia. 3 of his own bank accounts have been closed, he revealed. Well, that's a karma, isn't it? That's a karma, man. I don't know what is wrong with these people, by the way. Sergei Guriev, he was positioning himself, he was somewhat respected in some time ago in Russia, by the way. And as economist and also politician, he was trying to become political figure. But I don't understand what's wrong with this type of people, because they may disagree with policies of current government of Russia. They may disagree with choices of Russian society that supports this government. They may be in opposition, but why they are acting against Russia, by the way? They flee Russia, they end up in the Western states, and then began acting against Russia and began supporting these anti-Russian forces in the West. It's a treason, by the way. There's no other way around it. It's treason. That's what these people committed to. I mean, you may disagree with your government, you may flee country, but just live your life. Don't act against your country. You know? Yes, you may make statements, criticize Putin, his government, just that everybody, voters that supporting Putin and his party, but don't act against Russia. Don't support these Western sanctions, and don't become a part of this group that creates these sanctions, man. What's wrong with you? I don't know, man. This Sergei Guriev and many others, man, and these people, by the way, were pretending that they want to be, you know, like in power here in Russia, and that they were positioning themselves as a kind of opposition, a political opposition, when they proved that they don't care about Russia at all, and never did, basically. They were just using this mask of being opposition politician to, you know, to gain some influence, gain some political points maybe, but in reality we can all see how they are acting. He could go outside of Russia and just live his life. Time to time, okay, criticize government, it's your right, but from moment you become a part of anti-Russian coalition, and not just a part, not just small part, but Guriev was basically advising Western ruling class, Western institutions, which sanctions will hurt Russia more. And well, by the way, that's a treason. That's a treason, and everybody in Russia knows now what these people really are. Anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that Russia reveals lower than expected budget gap, which is quite good news. The Russian budget deficit had narrowed and will be significantly lower than previous government expectations, as an energy revenues and the broader economy have recovered despite pressure from the Western sanctions. Russia's finance minister Anton Silvanov revealed on Wednesday. According to the latest estimates, the budget gap will total 1% of gross domestic product, GDP, this year, significantly lower than earlier projections, which would have seen the deficit reach 2.9 trillion rubles, $32.8 billion, or 2% of GDP. Well, it's good that deficit of Russian budget will be significantly lower than expected previously, just about 1% of GDP, which is, I guess, 15-16 billion dollars, which is nothing, by the way, really, when it comes to Russian federal budget and when it comes to Russian reserves, by the way, in gold and foreign currency. So quite a good achievement, I will say, quite a good achievement on part of economical bloc. And dear friends, I want to share with you this news and end this update with it. Quite interesting news from science field. And let me translate this. Let me translate this. You're gonna find this news interesting, by the way. So, an international collaboration of the telescope array scientists and researchers has discovered the second most powerful cosmic ray ever observed, the nature of which cannot yet be determined, the University of Utah said in the statement. Tracing the trajectory of the new particle, which makes up the beam, to the source, it is not possible to identify anything with a high enough energy level to produce it. That's the mystery. What the hell is going on? Said John Matthews, a representative of the telescope array at the University of Utah. And this group, by the way, a telescope array, is international, and many scientists from a number of countries, by the way, are participating in this project, including from Russia. And well, I did read this. I will name, by the way, countries. So it's a combined project of U.S. scientists, Japan scientists, South Korea, Russia, and Belgium scientists. And their main observatory is located in Utah, in the U.S., on 1,300 meters above sea level. But what is interesting, really, that scientists have no idea this cosmic ray, is coming from, which is really interesting, because if it's not a quasar, and quasar is a black hole, which is eating, by the way, some matter, and while do so ejects huge beams, most powerful beams from both poluses, let's say. It's most energetic stuff in the world, in the universe, as I understand, those quasars. And well, second most powerful can be neutron stars that are spinning so ultra fast, several thousand times a second. And some of them magnetars, for example, some of them called magnetars, those magnetars also are emitting this from poluses, this rays of supercharged particles, but scientists are saying it's none of it. So then what this is, I don't know. Scientists don't know, but it's really interesting because there is so much unknown in the universe and so many questions, by the way, that and so much more to learn, that it's fascinating. And I will end this update here. I hope it's a short update. Let's see, 35 minutes, by the way. That's quite something. Quite short update. It's Friday, so short update is just fine. Hopefully you will find this video interesting, and if so, please, dear friends, click that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and if you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, or any other platform that you are active on. And dear friends, if you think this project with these several channels, including this one on YouTube, Rumble, or Telegram, is interesting, informative, useful, and deserves to exist, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, buy me a coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links under this video in the description box. And well, when it comes to Patreon page, tomorrow I'm gonna have day off also, as I usually do on Saturdays. I have day off, and I will definitely try to use tomorrow to make some additional extra content for Patreon. Last video, I'm not quite happy with the last video, because I was usually I do videos for Patreon in the walk and talk type, and last video was too dark. I make it evening time, and it was just too dark, so quality of video was not, visual part of it was not great, at least to say, but well, I will try to improve that. And I will make today better video, and tomorrow also, by the way. Tomorrow also, maybe in Moscow. Let's see. That's been said. I will end this video now. Have a great day and wonderful upcoming weekend. Take care and see you soon.